right, let's do it. Garden Report style.
What up?
Who's wearing Legends?
You know it.
Look at Joe Sway.
I'm wearing
his
Legends.
10th
too.
Brand
I
new
just can't
Legend.
See it.
Brand new
You
Legend.
know it.
Fresh out
Yeah.
the bag.
Joe Sway got the
Joe
the
Sway-
beige.
Joe Sway comes home from a mystery vacation
What do you mean?
with mystery people.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's the
Mystery.
crazy part though, John? Joe
Hey,
Sway's
they're
in
not a
Hawaii.
mystery to
right?
him.
Just found out
Yep.
Abby Chin was out in Hawaii. Just found out Mark Spears was out in Hawaii. And yet you guys,
Wow.
Ooh.
yeah, all around the same time.
Well, I'll tell you what. Joe Sway
Coincidence.
came back. He came back
Maybe.
to the show. Came back to Boston with a little pep in his step. Like he's just in a different
Sway?
mood.
Joe Sway,
Sway?
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
Man,
In fact,
fresh out. Am I right? I mean, over a week.
He's got that little
on.
golden hue
Come
to
on.
him.
I'm
now.
I brought Hawaii with me. Okay, I'm walking around like I'm good. Hopefully this lasts for about a week. We'll see.
Joe
I
Sway,
mean,
you're
He's riding his
sus.
bike more than John.
I saw
You're
him.
suspect.
He was posting some pics. I was like, who's taking them? Who's taking the pics?
Jimmy
don't
commented
worry
that
about
literally.
it, Jimmy. Don't
Yeah, he
worry
literally.
about it.
We just want to know. People want to know.
Don't
Yeah,
worry
Jimmy-
about it, sweetheart. Don't worry
Jimmy-
about
Wow.
Jimmy
I spent,
commented, and he got like
I-
7 likes on that.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
I was
I
at,
did. People are very interested.
Meanwhile, I was at
Suspect.
Fenway for a long, brutal weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
you covered that? Ooh, you covered that, Bobby?
Hey, wait. Somebody just
won't
said
talk
Marcus
about
was
Fenway.
salt. Bobby, you asked Marcus a question. He didn't want to answer it.
Really?
I don't know. Someone just said Marcus still salty. He didn't answer Bobby's question.
it. He was great. He answered
Would
every
you ask
question.
him?
I thought
Oh,
he
sure.
answered the question. It started kind of slow. I was basically talking about just like all the issues from last year, and
Oh,
he was
nice.
just like, "Oh, just turn the page, put it behind you." And they talked a little bit more after that, but yeah, it was kind of short. He was his usual, like, chippy-ish self, but he sounded good. He sounded confident. He sounded like all the stuff last year was behind him for the most part. He sounded very confident and happy about playing the point guard. And again, like, that's how I feel too. It's overdue that he's going to be moving to this position. They've almost been at their best when he's been there.
I think it was a 2-parter too. I think you asked a 2-part question. Maybe he didn't get the second half. I don't know, something like that. But,
It was a long day, Joe Sway. We did like 15 pressers.
Yeah.
no, I don't. Yeah, I didn't notice it myself.
Did you ask him to
Maybe-
do the Garden Report promo I asked you for?
I did go on the camera. Maybe you
It was
recognized me.
media
I
day.
don't know.
Hey, could you read this, Marcus? Marcus loves
like
the Garden Report.
It's like a generic one too. Hi, I'm Marcus Smart. I love the Garden Report. Like,
Yeah.
It's like a simple one too.
If I watch one show every night, it's the
Right,
Garden
right.
Report.
Maybe we'll pull that clip for later in the show.
Let's ask both Sherrod and Bobby, because they spent all day either in these interviews or
Zooming?
asking questions or zooming or what was the vibe? Sherrod, you were down there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it? Were they interacting at all, or they just stepped up to the Zoom and you guys talked to them at a little distance?
Well, I mean, for those of us who were there, it was how it's been in the past, where they come into a room, they get behind a desk, and we just fire off questions at them. The only difference was that we had the Zoom dynamic in there where we, Bobby and others on Zoom could ask questions. So in person, it was pretty much what we would normally do, John. But the one difference was we couldn't just kind of roam around like we've done.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like normally, you're just kind of hanging with
Right.
them.
But you're just literally just in a room waiting for them to bring in the different players. And
Yeah.
I mean, considering
So there's no pictures. There's not them hanging out, dribbling balls, doing their promos. You didn't have.
they
weren't
did
out
some
in
of
the
that
open
stuff, but we weren't privy to that.
because
That
it's
was
over.
only-
Yeah.
that was out of our line of sight. And
So
we,
yeah.
so
Not-
and you only could go in one entrance way, and so it was, it wasn't great, but I mean, considering the alternative, which is nothing, yeah. The
Okay.
funniest part, though, somebody comment on that was, and you guys know how much I love Abby. Abby would ask these like 2, 3, 4, 5-part questions that are just hysterical. And I understand why she's doing it. She is shooting her shot. She knows that she's probably not getting another chance to ask these questions. So get them all out when you can. I respect
Right.
that. I
Yeah.
absolutely respect that.
Bobby was out and running like crazy. He was like, "Oh my God, they called on me," and he
Yeah.
just went.
I had
He
a
just
bunch
went-
of 2-parters. I wasn't gonna go
But Bobby,
3-4 though.
he had a minor like Janet Jackson malfunction moment where he was on mute, and we couldn't.
Oh no.
Grant called me out.
Bobby, if I'm going to send you into these things, buddy.
Bobby, you embarrassed us? Wait, you embarrassed us?
I
Yeah,
caught the
unmute your mic, Bobby.
I caught the flack from Grant of all the stuff you guys and everyone else
I
in the
know.
comments has been saying. Because, listen, I've never said a bad thing about Grant.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
now you didn't say anything at all because you're muted the whole time. So, congratulations.
Yeah. That's the Zoom.
That is.
I'll get there one
So,
day.
Sherrod, what were your takeaways? Just like we talked to a zillion people, and again, just to kind of the full spectrum of everything that's going on right now. We know COVID is an NBA issue right now that it's out there. It's a weird elephant in the room, so that's a thing. You've got right out of the gate, they announced Ime Udoka has had a breakthrough case of COVID, so he's kind of on the shelf, even though he's on the downslope there. And getting better, but that kind of like cast a little pall over it right out of the gate. It was like, oh, that stinks. Then you've got Marcus. You got to look at Rob. Grant looked actually pretty good physically. Let's start with like preseason's the best, right? Everybody did everything right? They all went to the gym and they worked on stuff and things that they needed to work out. Now they're better at, and people who needed to put on muscle. And some people are in the best shape of their lives, and everything's perfect in preseason, right? But observationally, did you notice anything? Just you guys who were talking to them and who were in there the whole time?
Rob, I thought looked a little bigger.
Good bigger?
Rob, and good bigger, like more muscular.
Okay.
You just know what to say to John. That's all. That's all. You just know what John wants to hear.
I mean, and he was asked about that, and the question was like maybe a 3 or 4 second question. But while the person was asking the question, you could see Rob just nodding his head like, yup.
Rob was cheery today. I never seen Rob talk that much.
About him being bigger.
Was he flexing?
Well,
He didn't really flex, but you could tell. I mean, just looking at his body, he's definitely stronger than he was before. And the funny thing, he talked about how the Sixers got Andre Drummond, so I got to put some meat on these bones. He's already, I think, in that understanding that it's about time you start really taking that next level, take that next step, and be more than just this guy that we talk about potential wise. Because Rob can ball. I mean, we all know he can flat out ball, and if he's got some little added muscle on his body, that's huge. And the other big takeaway for me was just how Al Horford is like Mr. Sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. Everyone seemed to, there's like this glow in the room every time someone either talked about Al or once Al actually came into the room. Now, how are they going to feel on those nights when he goes 3 for 17? I don't know.
17?
Oh, my Lord. Come on.
You know what, though? That Robert,
17.
I feel like that Robert Williams swag sort of started last year at Media Day, right? And guess who was talking about it last year's Media Day? Al Horford. Oh, people don't realize, that was an important person to me. We still keep in contact, and look who's back. So I wasn't surprised to see, Robert and with the little happiness step. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell he's very excited for this year, ready to go, ready to show, how better he is now, especially that he has his boy back. So yeah, that was great to see for sure.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see them play together.
One of the things Al talked about, which I thought was really important, was he acknowledged that, to me, the one thing that we've all talked about and we all agree on is that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are your 2 best players. They're your pillars. They're the guys that if you're going to like elevate it into something bigger and better than what people think, they're more likely than not are going to be the catalyst of that. And Al doubled down on that in a very clear, with leaving no doubt about how he felt about it. And that to me is going to be so important that your vets, and damn, they got a lot of vets when you start looking at this roster now. The kiddies, they said the hell with the daycare. We ain't messing around with the kiddie pool anymore. We got to get some grown ass men up in here. You look at Josh Richardson, you get Al back, you got Ennis Cantor. I mean, they have
Schroeder.
Exactly. Schroeder. His name is going to be Butcher. You know what I'm hoping?
Sherrod. No, hold on. Sherrod's mad because people were saying something on Twitter. That's why. Somebody said something about.
I was corrected.
Listen, my goal for Dennis is to be so good that when we just say Dennis, that everyone will know that.
They called out Jimmy, and Jimmy took a shot at me. That's what happened.
Jimmy, they called you out
naturally. Yeah. They did.
They called out Jimmy, and Jimmy used it as an opportunity to take a dig at me, which is fine.
So a German speaking, viewer of the show, as there's a fly flying around me, he politely let me know, and I think he tagged you guys. It said it's pronounced Schroeder, and if you pronounce it Schroeder,
I
that's a
don't say
quote
Schroeder, and I don't know who is saying
that's a
Schroeder.
quote unquote cringe. And I said something along the lines of, well, that's one less thing John will be cringy about because I didn't want him to say it the wrong way. Now,
Damn.
is that guy right
Sherrod,
or
can
wrong?
you do
I don't
it? 'Cause
have
he-
How
hell
did
if
John
I
get
know.
into that?
Sherrod, I gotta hear you do it the full
Jimmy
German
dragged him.
accent, everything. Because the way he gave it to you today, it was passionate. It was deep, full German accent. It was so good the way he
It
gave
was
you
so
the
thick, but that's
pronunciation
the
today.
problem, Bobby. But that's the problem. It's so ridiculously thick. You can't unravel that shit.
That's what she said.
Sherrod
Wait,
put
so
it right back at him too, perfectly.
wait, he actually gave a pronunciation because I didn't.
Yes,
I
That was
didn't.
my
Sherrod.
And our sponsors are gone.
Sherrod asked him for the pronunciation. He fired it at Sherrod, and Sherrod
but
gave
it
him a
was so
perfect
thick.
imitation
It was
back.
so
Wow.
No,
thick.
you
Is
did it,
that-
Sherrod. I heard you. It
I'll
was
check the
perfect
video.
way you
Well, we
picked
must
it up.
have it posted. We must have posted it, so I'll check.
He's.
Check later.
I'm gonna like. I'm gonna like Dennis.
Denny.
Yeah, look at Sherrod. Yo, I can tell that energy is it's
See, here's
it's
the
going
thing about.
it's flowing through
See,
Sherrod
the
right
thing
now.
about
That's
Schroeder,
good. That's good.
Schroeder, he has a lot of petty in his game, and I'm a big fan of guys that got a little petty in their game.
Yeah,
Yep.
We're gonna.
I
work
like Chip. I like the
He's
chip on the
chippy.
shoulder.
He's petty. He got a little petty in his game.
Right.
He likes when he's booed. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Because if you
I
read between
forgot
the
about
lines,
that
Little
Isaiah
villain.
tangle
if you
from those years
honestly,
back, too.
if you read between the lines and you hear him say, two top guys like AD and LeBron, and I didn't get along with them, it says itself right there. He's just trying to tell you, I don't mess with those dudes. I don't like
he
those
was
guys. out
basically
He
there.
said he wasn't a good
Without-
fit.
I'm
Without
not
saying
their.
it.
I'm not their kind of guy. I'm not
Exactly.
their kind of dude.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't the right soldiers, so to speak.
I
And
can't wait for
didn't
those
fit in.
Lakers games.
I didn't fit in with those Lakers. That's what he
I'm
said.
telling you right now, I can't wait to see him and Russell go at it. Now, Russell is probably going to get the better of him, but damn it, Schroeder is going to do some serious low-key Schroeder type things.
Yeah,
He's
he's getting his
a little
head.
bit, maybe take a couple cheap shots. And I'm like,
Matt Schroeder's like,
I like the edge that he's got.
I feel like we're all saying Schroeder like we're not supposed to.
We're all just
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep.
I'm just gonna call him Dennis.
I
Him and
love-
Marcus are gonna be a nice 1-2 combo without getting under players' skin
Yeah,
up there.
I love
Don't
that.
forget about
Right?
Richardson. He could be a pain in the ass too.
But it's not
Oh,
just
for
that.
sure.
Like I like the people that embrace the villain. Like you have too many guys who like want to be liked.
Yeah.
It's much better if you're like I'm okay. I'm the asshole. I don't care. They're like
Right.
I like those guys.
Especially when there's that void, right? Especially when you just signed an extension. Looking at someone like Richardson, he said it himself. He's all in because clearly he just signed this extension. Clearly he knows he's going to be here for at least the next couple of seasons, and that's good. That's a good thing for him heading into the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. So, Bobby, we did say, I don't know if you got this vibe, Sherrod, but it sounded like they kind of hinted that these are that Schroeder and Richardson are bench guys. Does that seem right?
That's the gist I got.
That's the gist you got? Bobby, explain yourself.
yeah,
I'll pull the quote here. I think it was probably just kind of like a speaking slip by Udoka because, again, they didn't come out and name the starting lineup today. But you're hearing a lot of talk from people around the team, just people who know the team, that think Horford could play the 4. Udoka talked a lot about it today. There was no doubt in anybody's mind today. Like, no one indicated Rob would be coming off the bench.
there's not in one person's mind.
Sherrod's
Yes,
not feeling
but
it.
we can come to a compromise if they're both in the starting lineup. So this is what Ime said today. We can play big, small, faster, slower. We have a big team overall in general, and it depends on who we start at the 4 spot for the most part. Bringing in great veterans, Dennis and Josh obviously gives us depth off the bench. That's where I kind of got Dennis and Josh coming off the bench from, and that seems to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, again, that kind of leaves you with that starting lineup of Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Rob. And I think it makes sense against most teams. We'll see how good Horford can still play the 4 because, again, that didn't look great in Philly, and he admitted that today as much too. I'm a little skeptical of it as well at this point in Horford's career, but I think it's a good starting point. I think Rob and Horford both deserve to start here. And, again, I'm not that high on Richardson as other people, so I'm not bummed to see him come off the bench. Again, I think this can kind of be a matchup thing.
I'm not feeling that being an extended lineup. I could see that as potentially being like, for a 5-minute stretch in the third quarter where you're down by like 2, that group can just beat the crap out of the other team and get you up by 5 or 6, and then you put Al back on the bench, or you put Rob on the bench. I don't like them playing together because I like the idea of Al being the brain trust of the second unit. I love Al being at the elbow and just directing traffic, whether it's finding
you can
guys.
still do that. They can start to stagger them throughout the lineups.
They
And
can
again,
do
like
that,
we know
but
the starting lineup isn't that
Yeah.
important. It's just kind of a
Yeah.
conversation piece.
Well, I just think that there's a lack of fluidity when you've got Al at the 4 and Rob at the 5. I think that's going to cause a lot of, frankly, more defensive rotating than I think the Celtics are going to want to have, because Al is going to have. I think Al is going to have some trouble with a lot of force, particularly when teams go small. I mean, think about it.
Well, you
Guys
got
like
that.
Jason Tatum.
You got that tweet
Yeah.
I sent you, John, of his 3-point percentage the last 4 years. Al's that is.
Yeah, I
going up
studied
and
it
up,
like all night. That's like
going up and up, and the volume going up and up. So he's kind of continued that progression of becoming a better and better 3-point shooter with more and more volume on top of it. So when you compare Richardson as a 3-point shooter and Horford, it's actually pretty close. And Richardson has slipped for a few years here. The free throw percentage he has intrigues me, 92. That usually speaks to there being some consistency to your shot there and being able to figure things out. But you compare Horford and Richardson, who do you feel more confidence in as a floor spacer consistently?
As a floor spacer, Al. As an overall defender that can guard his yard, Josh. I'll take Josh.
So you're going with Josh and Smart.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to start off that way too, to get off on the right tone, the right defensive tone. And I like that lineup. And you know what,
I
Bobby?
don't like
Even
double big.
Even if they
I don't
were to
either.
go
Not
double big,
big.
even if they were to start double big, Bobby, how many times do you think the game's gonna end that way? Like,
I
can
hate
you
that
realistically
phrase.
see that? I think that's a tough spot to put
Which
guys
phrase?
in.
Bobby,
In terms of finding fluid offense.
'Cause
You know,
no, it's
you
not
should
the
be doing just
same.
double
Wait,
big.
Bobby,
Tyson
we
Thompson-
use that phrase for people like you who just refuse to
People
exist.
like Bobby.
No, because you like refuse to accept positions. So like double big is just basically normal basketball to like most boomers, where you had a 4 and a 5. But since it's so foreign to you, we have to qualify it and say double
John,
big.
what's a boomer card?
You know,
But I think using that phrase makes it sound like it's going to be the exact same thing as Tyson Thompson.
it's not. You
who-
have more of a traditional 4 and
Yeah.
a traditional 5. But I mean, it's double big because it's so rare to see two people that play really more like bigs than, wings,
Right.
stretch players or whatever. Like Tatum is an unconventional 4 when he's in there at the 4.
I
It's
know,
a
but there's such a difference between.
Well, that's
Tyson
what
at the
this is
4
all
and
so
about.
that's why you
Tyson
have to
4.
qualify this and call it double big.
But
Yeah.
what I feel like the question we should be asking is where is the most ideal spot for Tatum and Brown? Like, where can they do the most damage? And then the other guys fit around them. I mean,
It
whether
don't
that's
matter. On the
2,
court,
3, or
wherever
3,
the hell
4.
they want to be on the court. I
No,
Right,
but in
but-
terms of accentuating their strengths, I think like who's going to
If
fit best
if you're
next to
talking,
them.
I like Tatum at the 4. I like him at the 4. I think he's a
So, yeah.
major.
So do
major-
I. That's where
and
he's going to
especially
be.
Now that he's got the gun.
so that's your answer then. If
That's
you like
who
Tatum
he's
at the
going
4,
to be. Yes.
So if Tatum goes to the 4, then you've already answered this whole question about
Here's my worry though, Jimmy.
Al and
do you have
double
the
big and all this stuff.
do you
When
have the
did Paul
shooting
George
around
kind
them?
of when did Paul George take another leap forward into kind of, all around top 15 player like he is now? When he got moved to the 4. And that's kind of where I really do feel like that's Tatum's natural position.
I mean, he's putting on the
going forward when
weight
he gets a
and
little
stuff.
bigger. He's
Yeah.
much more of that than a wing.
It's a new age
I
force.
just
Also
just-
guarding like 6'6" wings and the more athletic guys. That's not his game. I think he's really more of like I think he's really a 4 for most of his NBA career. That's where he's going to be.
Yeah, and I understand the identity of this team is going to be more defensive than offensive to what Sherrod's saying there, but I just don't want to see Tatum and Brown struggling and grinding to the basket because the spacing's so bad and you just have these two guards who can't consistently knock down shots in Richardson and Smart. I'd feel a little bit better with Horford being out there as that pick and pop high post option. You'll have more movement out there between him and Rob, I feel like. Richardson's not the greatest facilitator in the world. I'm just not all that thrilled to see him playing with this team. Like, I've never been a huge Richardson guy. I want to see Horford. I can't even picture in my mind Horford sitting on the bench to start a game. That'd just be so foreign to me. He doesn't seem like a bench guy to me.
I can absolutely see that. And the thing about Josh is,
You're acting
talk
like
about
he's like the
shooting.
Hawks.
Shooting is problematic. I will absolutely co-sign on that. It's not his forte, but his ability to defend, playing with a guy like Marcus, will allow that transition game, I think, to go in a gear that we haven't seen them before, because you'll have two pit bulls back there who can defend at a high level.
If that's
Tatum no defensive slouch. Tatum is a good defender, and you've got rim running Rob. I mean, you got a team that could potentially get out and get you a lot of easy baskets, so that whatever Josh is lacking in terms of just natural born shot making, you're going to be able to match that because you're getting out in transition, getting easy buckets.
Here's the problem,
and also Bobby too. You forget, man, that one of the biggest actually the biggest weakness of last year's team was the second unit. It was arguably the worst second unit in the NBA. Like this puts the Celtics in a much better situation. Well, especially Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think that's what they need. They needed help, obviously from the second unit and obviously throughout the starters, but they're gonna need that muscle coming off the bench.
Yeah, this team has a lot of options for second unit producers when it comes to Schroeder, when it comes to Pritchard. There's a number of guys I think can create on that.
Already have them
unit. Again,
good.
You're going to be able to stagger them. I think so. I think so. So when we're talking about starters,
Pritchard. I don't know about what with Pritchard.
When we're talking about starters, to throw it back to the scout pieces that we were reading last week, I actually really like that idea of by the end of the year figuring out a way to get Peyton Pritchard into that starting lineup. Having him
this team?
focus.
We're losing control. We're losing control of Bobby early.
By the end of the year, have him be that pure spacer.
File this for the
Sherrod's face right now. No, come back because that face is too funny.
I can't start getting this. I can't start getting mad.
Not on opening night.
I can't get mad at Bobby
at
this
the end
early.
of the year, like when they're trying to
it's
get in a
media
playoff
day.
position. And
Yeah, but
he
wasn't even. John,
team.
he wasn't even there, man. Imagine if he was there. If he had the same energy that Sherrod came with, you're killing Sherrod's vibe right now.
Listen, this is
Sherrod
not
glowing.
So we got to play you. This is not that league.
He felt so good about this team until about 10 minutes ago.
Again, this isn't
all we know.
Night.
Bobby's certainties are we got to find a way to get Pritchard and Allen the starting lineup. That's all, and then everything else will trickle down from there.
Here's the problem, John. If they're starting
Richardson,
Richardson, might send Rob to the bench.
Huh? Rob is not going to the bench. Rob is the starting center and the third best player on this team, and a guy who might, if healthy, threaten for an all-star spot.
Again,
Rob Williams is not
coming off the bench.
Rob Williams is not going to the bench
because he does so many things. He does basically every single thing on the court that you need.
If Bobby keeps this up, we're talking about vaccines. All right, so come on, Bobby.
Dude, no one's saying that Al Horford doesn't deserve to play. But to act like he should be getting 35 minutes a game and starting, and like he's gonna give you like 22 and 15. It's like this isn't the Atlanta Hawks Al Horford anymore.
No,
I'm just talking about starting. Who's setting the tone to start a game?
And in terms of Robert Williams, I need to see what he looks like, unmasked, metaphorically speaking, unmasked, ready to go, no limitations. I need to see what that looks like for a month. Okay, so if he's saying that, you like that? So if he's saying that he feels 100% and he feels great, then let's see it. I want to see a whole month of this. Healthy Robert Williams.
I want to see that too.
It's a brand new chapter to his career. Let's keep it real.
I'm gonna take it 1 week at a time, Josue. I'm gonna take it one week at a time.
Okay, hopefully we get a week.
We get a good week, and then we'll be back up with another good week. I can't look that far down the road with Rob because it pains me to do that, man.
I would love
to. So damn talented.
I know.
I wish he would say some things that made me feel. Here's so like we were joking about it in the beginning where like
about to go in right now.
No, but I mean, look, when the training camp preseason is all about hyperbole. It's all about, you did everything's perfect and awesome. Everyone looks great and all of that stuff. And Rob being asked about things, he's like, I'm putting faith in my trainers. It's kind of like shoulder shrug. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The interview with maybe 60 games, like none of that stuff. I want more exaggeration. I feel the best I've ever felt. My goal is to play 80 games, even if we don't believe
He's getting there. Today's the
I
most
want
I've ever heard
want
him talk.
summer workout highlight reel stuff. I just want him throwing down dunk. I want him I want him going way too hard in practice. I want a clip of that. That's the stuff I want.
Yeah.
So he has to start. In other words,
the quote I like from him today is him talking about Brown and Tatum seeing him grow as much as he's seen them grow. Like him putting himself in tandem there in a big three. Like I know some of you want to talk about him being involved in with Tatum and Brown. He was looping himself right in with them. And again, I've never seen him so bright, talkative, just glowing off the extension there. I'd never seen anything like this.
That was
before.
actually a really like kind of like an earnest moment, which is kind of like I've never seen money. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Me neither.
He's signing something
Let me
that's
get a
like
look at
saying
that. Let me see
like
that. Yeah.
here's 12 million.
Reach in
here's-
there for a
Yeah.
second.
Here's $50 million, kid, and he's like,
Right.
so like if I put my name on it, this is mine, like, and that's his reaction,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
That is cool. That's
So good for
very
him. I mean,
He's probably hearing from a lot of cousins.
yeah,
Baton
It's-
Rouge.
Within
Yeah.
within months, it's going to be the biggest bargain in the NBA. That contract.
And the thing about Rob, and he knows that with his age and with the type of contract he has, if he balls out, woo, the next big contract is going to be the big contract. The Celtics with this one, this was a team friendly deal. They paid basically for potential, and he has the potential to be a really good center. I think he could be the next best center in the East behind Embiid. And you think about it, it's not like there's a whole stack of bigs who are waiting to take that number 2 spot. He could be that good. He could be the second best center in the East.
But
Easily.
one week at a time, though.
Yeah, right. See?
Well, he's not there yet.
That's what.
Not even
One
close,
week,
but
though.
he's got the potential to be there.
I asked Grant
but
It was a
Yeah,
win-win. It was a win-win deal, I think, for both sides. Rob gets
$40 million
that,
for him, yeah.
that paycheck, and a lot of it's
Yeah.
based on promise, clearly. And, the Celtics get a guy that they believe has the potential to, in Sherrod's words, be the second best center in the East.
Grant
Which
today.
is that's not a huge bar to clear if you think about it. I mean, other than Embiid,
I mean,
pretty
shit. There's some. I mean, Bam murdered him in the last couple seasons. That's a hurdle right there to climb. I wouldn't just be so quick.
What
to
about
put him over
Drummond? Rob was like, Drummond's in the East now. I gotta bulk up. That was
I
so
don't think
funny
he's
too.
allowed. I don't think he can say Embiid's name after that.
Yeah.
that start he had against him.
No, but Grant today, Rob's one of the best bigs in the league. He'll show that this year. I think a lot of people are feeling like that coming in. You hear a lot of national
this
people
goes back to
saying-
what John said from the beginning, though. That training camp optimism. I mean, even the Sacramento Kings are thinking, hey, it's our year. It's our year. We've been saying it for the last decade, and it's going to happen this year.
But I mean, I know, like, Bobby, you're saying. I know. What's his name? Zach Lowe's been super bullish on him.
Chris Herring.
Yeah,
I think they just watch our show and they're like, these guys are onto something. We need to hop on.
Well, again,
Right.
no one was talking about him last year, and now like the optimism there is just through the roof.
I don't know. I don't think. I don't think
No,
it was
again,
no
look-
one.
Did anyone on the Celtics last year say this guy could be one of the best bigs in the league? It was always kind of just burying him, like he's got a
They
lot
wanted
to
him to
learn.
play. They had
I
no
think
idea
a-
he never played.
A lot of them,
It's
they were like, yeah, we're better when Rob's out. Like, I think in some cases it was almost like they didn't want to like subtweet Brad with their commentary and be like, yeah, this guy's really great. Like, if almost like if we played him, we'd be good. Like it was like, let's get this going. I think they recognize it out there. The guy's friggin', he's breathtaking what he does. Like, I mean, the stuff that he did last year, we've never seen anybody do that. It's really amazing. He's just got to keep it, And again, we keep talking about keeping it together. He kept it together for the most part last year. We're so quick to look at his lapses, but Bobby spoke to the confidence, and he, that stuff matters. Like, everything for him is slow the game down a little bit because he has just not the athleticism. He has incredible sense for the game, the passing, the vision. He gets basketball. He's just got to slow himself down sometimes. And if he can do that,
not get caught up in the mistakes.
Yeah. And don't worry. Don't jump out at people too aggressively. Stay on your feet sometimes, just defensive assignments where he needs to be. Just there's a few things, but if he does that and he's so close, like we saw his shot last year too. His free throw stroke looks good. He knocked down quite a few 10, 12, 14 footers.
He's got to get better there.
When he had
he
to.
Is shaky at the line.
Yeah.
But if that's there, it doesn't look like somebody who's like, wow, the ball's really big in my hand and I'm going to shot put it towards the rim. He has a natural stroke there.
Small.
Yeah. I think
Small hand.
yeah. I think
like a tennis ball. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. Anyway,
I have the
so
same issue.
that's the Rob stuff. Yeah. What I know we liked the look of Grant. We're not going to talk about Grant, but he did look physically better. Anything else stand out to you guys
Great
in terms
pictures.
of visuals?
He got a Tatum photo taken.
Yeah.
Visuals. What'd you guys see?
Any observations? Just seeing them hanging around?
No, we didn't see much of that.
No, but I mean, even at the table there,
Even
like,
at
you
the
know.
table, I mean, I guess the thing that I keep coming back to when I think about today is the fact that the Celtics there's a clear shift in focus from trying to develop young players, and there's still some of that, but there's more of a focus on
felt that
let's
too.
get guys who can play.
Yeah.
Let's just get guys who know how to play the damn game right now, that we don't have to put in the stroller, to walk them around the block, show them what this thing called the NBA basketball is like. No, we got guys who can just literally throw on the sneakers and head out in the gym and ball. That's where they're headed now. When I look at guys like Josh Richardson, I look at Al, I look at Enes Kanter. They've added guys who can play. Now, are these great players? Hell no. They're good players. And to me, if you can't have a great player,
they're reliable players.
A bunch of good players. That's what they have.
You got guys who you know who you're gonna get.
You know exactly what you're getting right in,
day in and day out. Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is this feels like the beginning of a new season. Last season did not feel like the beginning of a new season. It felt like an extension of the COVID season, COVID breakup season,
like a sequel.
The fight in the locker room just never ended.
Honestly, it just felt like one long ass bad vibe type year, and you could just see. And when the way it ended, it just felt like not one person from Danny Ainge on down wanted to be there, wanted to be in that organization.
I agree with that 100%, Jimmy.
And now it's like they got their break, they got their time away. Where the hell they went? Good for them. Danny Ainge obviously isn't in his role. Brad Stevens is in a different role. And, you know, they've got a new coach. They've got players that are coming in with a little bit of a different attitude, it looks like. I don't know what Ime is preaching, but hopefully it works. And, you know, you kind of have to go into the season. I feel like you're going in, like, with some positivity, which is nice because the way the season ended was, I mean, I don't want to live some of those days that we had to live as, you know, Celtics fans or whoever you are watching, because it was like you were almost a laughingstock of the league at points.
Who, me?
Well, always you, but the fans, the team in general, just you didn't want to be. It didn't seem like Celtics basketball.
Oh, that Atlanta game.
That we wanted to.
It seemed like there were too many nights and too many stretches where they just didn't play as hard as they could. It seemed like they were just kind of coasting a lot of nights. And if you're a 500 team and you're coasting, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Some of those games where they're down by
But remember
20,
those. I mean, those. We're used to seeing those guys play hard most nights. Even if they don't win, you always feel as though the effort was there to win. They may not have won on the scoreboard, but they won from a competition standpoint. This team seems more built like that. Like, I don't see Josh Richardson or Marcus Smart or Al Horford allowing them to take too many nights off. Al is one of those guys. He's got the respect of that locker room where when Al speaks, folks going to listen. And they got some guys who got a little bit of nasty pettiness in them that I love. Yeah. I'm a big fan of guys
attitude.
Like the more Dennis is perfect for this team right now.
Yeah, you know what?
Worked with some of those other teams they've had the last couple of years, but this year, right now, perfect addition to this team. They need guys with that little chippy, edgy brand. And Al Horford, who I thought when he talked about Dennis, that was really telling because he said that was the one guy that he's really eager to play with again.
He was like, I picked up the phone and was like, is this true? He's coming?
Yeah. I mean, Al, when the season is over, Al likes to chill. He likes to let everyone do what they do and let Al Horford do what Al Horford does, which is just chill. But he's picking up the phone. He's trying to say, hey, Brad.
I love how invested Horford seems in this team.
Yeah.
Well,
he picked up a phone this offseason. Super invested.
Yeah. I mean, Al.
Well, I think.
Well, again, he couldn't get out of here fast enough last time. Now he's like, "Oh, thank God."
No, I know.
Well, I think
he was talking about Philadelphia like it was hell.
Yeah, but I think one of the most common themes that we saw from all the returning players though is that they're all excited for change. They're all excited for something new, a new system. I mean, I feel like Jaylen Brown didn't want to get too into it, but he was just like, something about coach.
He kind of called out Brad.
He got questioned about Ime being a hard coach, and he goes, well, Brad wasn't a hard coach. He kind of laughed it off, like being like, look, I'm not trying to diss Brad right now, but let's face it, he didn't get in our faces. He didn't.
He's not a
Maybe
guy
we
who can
need
coach
more of
hard.
that.
Right, that's the thing.
I'm encouraging that. I'm ready for that. And I
So-
thought
that was such
that
a
was
good
a
quote.
huge. That was a great message to hear from someone like Jaylen Brown. Obviously, you know, I'm in. I'm buying into Ime. You know,
Well, it's
one
top
of
down
my
there.
one of my biggest complaints, you know, all season was like, when has Jalen or Tatum even has said, look, we believe in Brad. You know, we you know, things are down right
Never.
now, but we trust that Brad's going to bring us back up. It never happened. So
Yeah.
it's good to see that right now.
That's something Jimmy talked about. I talked about it. You didn't hear that with Brad, and that was a problem because you used to hear it. But
Did
this
you ever
stuff
hear-
is
You used
this
to
stuff
hear
is
it.
important. This stuff's important because of the trickle down. Like if
You used to
the
hear it.
stars can't be
Evan
coached hard, no one can be
Turner.
coached hard. So
Yeah.
now these guys are on record. You didn't like the way things were. You didn't give an A+ effort, or it just didn't work out for you. You got the guy. You had your input. Now you're on the record for saying, I'm going to play for this guy. You're also
Right.
on the record for saying, I'm going to let this guy push me. I
Right.
hope they recognize that they need it. It's one thing. Nobody likes somebody on your ass all day, but you might recognize that you need that thing.
Right.
You know, you don't like it when it's happening, but it's important. You know, like, you know, I definitely needed a kick in the butt there.
Right.
And I hope
Right.
it's sincere in their case, which is kind of like, yeah, sometimes I probably do need a kick in the ass, and I am ready to work hard. That would make a huge difference because that's why we gave them such grief last year. We're like, you guys got a lead, man. Everyone's going to follow
Yeah.
you. If you're
Right.
if you're sulking, if
Yeah.
you're whatever, it's not going to work. It doesn't work
Yeah, but
without these guys. Yeah.
How many times did we say it though? Like, do they even like Brad anymore? Like,
Right.
We were scratching our head by the end of the season, saying, how is this going to work heading into the postseason? Imagine, you know, you already felt sort of that disconnect, you know, weeks before the playoffs started.
Yeah, eventually there was a disconnect there where, I mean, Brad Stevens, obviously a smart X's and O's coach, but couldn't get through to the guys the way sometimes they need to get through to. You know, there's X's and O's coaches, players and coaches. There's guys who are going to, you know, let the players figure it out on their own, and then there's guys who are going to be a little bit more in your face. So maybe Ime Udoka is a little bit, I don't know, you know, we'll find out his style, I guess, the more we see him on the sidelines. But it sounds like early on that, you know, he's going to be, you know, kind of up in their grill a little bit, you know, not going to be scared to call them out, not going to be scared to push them a little bit and make them work together. You know, if it's everyone versus the coach in a good way, then that's fine. You know, like let him be the bad guy. You know, don't put the players against each other. So I'm excited for that. And I'm glad we brought up Jaylen Brown because we haven't really mentioned him at all. And was there anything about his media?
we always not mention.
I know.
Remember,
And I know it's probably people being like, can't believe you guys got
After the
another show
game.
without mentioning Jaylen Brown.
After the games, yeah.
It's
sometimes
our
we
number
forget to
one,
mention.
the number one complaint from fans
Yeah.
last year. The most one is,
Yeah.
you guys don't even talk about Jaylen Brown ever, you know?
Yeah.
Terrible.
But my question was, is the wrist something that should be should we continue to look at that, or is he kind of close to being ready to go? Or
He
He
kind of
says
talked
good.
out of both sides of his mouth on it
I
today,
know,
right?
that's the weird
Yeah.
thing.
It was like, it bothers me here and there, but even on the bad days, it's still great. I'm great. Everything's great, you know? So
Right.
Well, then he talked about his knee too, and I
Yeah.
thought that was
Just how
interesting.
banged up he
I think
was
it's probably
overall.
Yeah,
pain
he brought
tolerance at
he
this
brought up
point.
he brought up the how it was affecting his speed a bit. You know, his knee.
He had
his
everything
nagging
last
knee
year.
injury. I thought that was interesting that he brought that up, but yeah.
I mean, I'd be much more concerned about a knee than I would a wrist. I mean, a wrist will make a full recovery, and I don't see any issues there. A knee, those things can, you know, we can just talk about Kemba Walker, whoever you want to talk about. I mean, there's tons of players who the knees are kind of hurt them in the long run over the course of a career. So hopefully that's nothing crazy. But if he's ready to go, like wrist wise, then I mean,
It's a good point.
that's
Jimmy.
obviously great news.
Yeah, his durability is going to be a major barometer for the team this year. If he's like 60 games or something like that, they're going to be in rough shape just because of the depth of top-end scoring talent here. And the last few years, you do look at it, he kind of has been accumulating the bumps and bruises, just different parts of his body. Like, listing them off today the way he was, it was like he was banged up head to toe last year. Forget the wrist. It was just kind of the final straw, it seemed like. Durability is going to be a huge issue for this team again this year. They're deeper, but they can't afford to lose those key parts. Like losing Smart even this year, I think would be a huge deal just because of how much depth they have at the point guard spot in particular in terms of, you know, great passers and facilitators. Brown, Smart, Rob, those guys really need to stay healthy this year, even though I feel like they have a lot of good depth talent here. And Al, for that matter, too. You know, he hasn't played a lot of games the last couple of years. He's had the knee stuff that Jimmy's talked about. So health's going to be critical this year. And then the COVID stuff, of course, too. They got ravaged by that last year. It seems like it could be an issue again this year, maybe. So, games played might be the deciding factor in how far this team goes for the key players.
I'm just
indeed.
I'm thinking more about what John was saying about Jalen and just all the different bumps and bruises that he's just rattling off. And that's the one position, the wing position, where they are kind of shallow. I mean, you got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Neesmith, and you got Romeo. That's pretty much it.
Who?
Who
was that last guy?
Yeah, Romeo. Romeo scratching.
He was scratching his head
Romeo
today. Stock, and I'm not selling.
Okay, yeah, you had no choice. You can't sell that now.
Sherrod.
I sold my. Sherrod has all of mine.
Exactly, I got it all.
Right. You ever see anyone?
Wait, Sherrod. I mean, John, you sold your Romeo stock.
You guys covered a Super Bowl, right? Like Jimmy, I know you have.
Yeah.
You walk around on media day and there's like the backup long snapper and no one and everyone's walking around and he's just sitting there like no one's going to interview me. How there's like 8,000.
Here I come.
That was Romeo today.
Oh my God, that's right.
Somebody.
They had the stream going. It was the two Celtics.com reporters there and they had questions flowing in on Twitter all day. Marcus, everybody, we love you, this and that. All these questions for everybody. They asked Romeo a couple questions, and they're like, all right, let's go to Twitter. And they're like, there's no Twitter questions. They actually did that on the air.
That's too bad.
Oh, that was bad.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you ask them? I mean, you gotta play. You gotta get on the court. That should be Romeo's goal this year.
I forgot
Get on the
about
damn
that.
court.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough
It's
spot
not
because
getting on the court. The problem is staying on the court, staying healthy.
Well,
stay on the court.
Yeah, but
No, you can't get on the court. That's the thing. You can't get. Then you can stay in the court.
With all the action that happened during the offseason, I can see why he's scratching the head a bit. He's like Richardson, Schroeder. Where am I going to play here, guys? Do I have a shot to even crack this rotation? I mean, we'll see. Obviously, we'll have to see how much heart he's going to bring into this training camp, and we'll see when things are divvied up and the lineups are figured out. We'll see where he fits in this rotation, but I don't see it happening. I don't know. We'll have to wait.
Well, it goes back to health.
Looking in at first.
It goes back to health, like Bobby and Sherrod just talked about. Like they're thin, with all the bumps and bruises, COVID, this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
He might find himself in the end of the rotation on certain nights just by default.
I can see it starting like that, like Sherrod just said. If it starts like that, I can see that happening. But he's gonna have to really fight.
We kicked around Jay King's rotation preview there. No minutes for Grant, no minutes for Romeo. That's kind of where it stands, matchup dependent. They got a lot of centers. Grant talked about that today. They got a lot of wings in front of Romeo. Again, I agree with Sherrod that they don't have great quality depth at wing, but they got Neesmith. They got some of these other guys that are in front of him for now, Richardson. So those two guys are on the bench to start the year. And again, Brad and Ime talked about that this year. This team need to get older. They need to get more reliable, like we just said. And so that means these younger guys, the minutes just aren't going to be there. They talked about Maine for some of these guys. Romeo, Grant, even Pritchard. You could see some Maine stints for these guys if they're on. Yeah.
You will see them young boys.
And thank the Lord, no first-round pick this year.
Wait, what do you think, Sherrod? What are we going to see?
We're going to see them in Maine. We're going to see a number of those guys in Maine this year.
They're gonna be player of the month, player of the week.
They're gonna have the best. This is gonna be the best G League team in G League history.
I'm already putting. I'm betting Maine Red Claw future.
They'll have like 2 or 3 G League All Stars.
Yeah,
they're gonna be stacked.
Jimmy, we're taking a
Where
road
does
trip.
Romeo play? Where does Romeo play more games? Maine or Boston?
I'm gonna go Boston.
Yeah, there'll be injuries and stuff. These guys will appear eventually.
It'll be more.
He's going down.
It is stunning. It is stunning how far out of everything he's fallen. When we were talking about Summer League, it was like, let's see what he's got. And now you've got people writing articles about like the rotations of the team, and Romeo's down for 0 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, no, not a person here even mentioned him in passing on media day as a young guy and someone they expect. He is back of the bench filler right now. I think he is so far out of rotation considerations.
Neesmith passed him.
I think but beyond that, I think he could log if he is on the roster every single night, I think he could log like 40 DNP CDs this year. He's that far back.
Which will he have more of, games played or DNP CDs?
Right. That's what I mean. If you combine DNP CDs and Maine, I'm going to take those over games played this year. That's how far down he's fallen.
I'm going to say that DNP
and garbage time doesn't count. All right.
DNP CD means he's healthy though, so that's why I'm not sure it's a DNP CD. It might just be a DNP pick a spot on the body.
Neesmith. It's still very Neesmith dependent. Is Neesmith going to run away with minutes here and become a reliable bench wing? Or is he going to still struggle on defense and positioning and all those things? Because we talked about over the summer.
Stock too.
The floor for Romeo still is that defensive. The floor for Romeo is still that defensive reliability. If Neesmith's struggling and inconsistent, they'll look toward Romeo because they know what he's going to bring on that end. He's reliable on that end, and he can knock down a 3 now. It looks like based off the summer league stats.
But if he doesn't answer that phone, Bobby, man. If I had to guess, I don't think he's going to be as patient as maybe Brad Stevens was last season.
I don't think he can come in there
he'll just round out that rotation to less players and say, figure it out, guys.
Yeah. Is he coming in there with a DGAF game, where he just kind of floats around for a little bit and you think he gets back out there again? I don't think so.
There's too many veterans. And again,
very short leash.
We said this coming in the offseason. It get older. I said, get rid of the first round picks. Enough of that. And they got rid of this year's. I'm so glad that this team's going to be
want them. I just want different ones. Yeah.
Well, there's no minutes for them. You're seeing it now.
I want good ones.
No minutes for these guys.
All right. Well, let's take a quick pause. We want to let everybody know again about our sponsor here, Legends brand. Everyone who's rocking it right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I got the tee on.
Mine's right here. It was a little stuffy in here, so I didn't want to put it on, but I want to.
Comfortable.
Josue got the new color.
It's comfortable.
Josue got the new color, I think.
I got the newest one.
We don't have those.
I like this one.
Yeah. Why you get the new?
You don't have this one,
Josue?
I thought Jimmy. I thought you had this one.
No, I got the black one. I like
Josue is one of the ambassadors. He really you got that list, John. It's like Marcus Morris.
Here it is. It's Steve Nash, Baker Mayfield, Matt Barnes, Willie McGinnis, Josue Pavone, right there.
Fine print at the bottom. That's me. Man.
He's 5th on the list.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go through it. Okay, the Garden Report is sponsored by Legends brand. Okay, athlete-owned apparel brand, popping up everywhere. We mentioned some people: Nash, Barnes, Mayfield, Willie McGinnis, Marcus Morris, Josue Pavone. They all swear by it. So visit legends.com today and use the code GARDEN20 to save up to 20% on your first order. We are now approaching, we have a little over a week, 10 days to go for you to take advantage of this. So please do. It helps us if you support our sponsors. We can pump out more content for you. We love to do it. So please do so. Again, premium athletic apparel built for the modern athlete and Josue Pavone.
Right.
Legends. Yep.
If you guys don't do it, then I can't wear it anymore. So come on.
Legends.com.
Right, he can't go back to Hawaii.
Jimmy likes giving promo codes.
Yeah, promo code GARDEN20. 20% off.
Garden.
Garden
kid.
Garden 20 kid.
Garden 20
check out their Instagram too. They actually have a really good Instagram account. They got a lot.
Garden 20 mush.
How
do you crush 20 in the Boston accent? 20. I can't even do it.
20.
Garden 20.
20. It's 20. 20.
It's 20 kid.
20 kid.
Yeah, there's no R's, no
20. 20.
That's a thick Boston accent right there.
20.
I can't even do it.
Yeah. So
20.
go get some, guys. Thank you.
I'm just scrolling through their gram. They got a lot of good content. And they got some, but they let you know like new products and such.
Yeah. So we like it. So other Celtics Media Day observations. Again, one thing we talked about briefly. I think it's worth hitting on. This is something we talked about at the beginning when we were kind of going through some off-season questions. And when Marcus signed the extension, it was the sunny side of Marcus was like, what if in this year as a point guard, without any question what his role is, that he shows us something he's never shown us, because I think at best Marcus stayed about flat last year. If anything, I think he took a step back because his defense wasn't as elite as it has been. Most of his other metrics were close. And yes, he led the team in assists, but the question is, can he be an elite playmaker or someone who can handle the offense when it's his show? He was exceedingly confident when asked about this today. Almost to the point of like, yeah, no problem. I got this. Finally.
It's easy.
Easy,
Yeah.
which Sherrod likes Sherrod likes petty. Sherrod likes people with attitude.
Yeah,
I like people with confidence up to here. So I like this, but
Right.
what do you guys think?
Honestly, I think clearly you hit a nerve, because that's sort of been the question mark his entire career, right?
Yeah.
When he first came in to Boston,
What
right?
is
When
he?
he was first drafted. No, it wasn't what is he? It was, you're supposed to be the replacement for Rondo, right? Until we can find a way to trade Rondo, you're going to be that point guard. And then we found out less than a year, into his career, that he wasn't going to be the designated point guard. He was never offered that role again. It was never in the question, because in came in these elite score first point guards. And of course, there was no question as to who's going to start over, Kyrie Irving. And of course, what happened with Isaiah Thomas, and then later on, it was Kemba Walker. So this is his chance that he's been waiting for. So I say, give him the keys. I mean, we've been talking about this for the last couple of months, for the last few months. I mean, he's talking the talk. He's going to back it up. I mean, that's what Marcus has done in the past, So I don't see why everyone is so surprised. I mean, this is Marcus. This is his personality. This is who he is. This is why you love him. I don't see why people are surprised.
I don't need him. And the Celtics, to be honest with you, they don't need him to be an elite point guard. They need him to be solid. They need him to be an elite defender who can be a playmaker, who can shoot when he's open. And obviously, he's not going to be a 50, 40, 90 guy. That's not who he is. But Marcus has the ability to make open shots. As long as that is a secondary thing, that's part of his game. His primary responsibility is to make sure Tatum and Brown are getting the shots in rhythm, getting them the ball where they can go to work, being a floor leader. That's what his job has to be. I don't need Marcus Smart to go out there and give me 10, 11, 12 assists. You don't need him to be that type of point guard, because I don't think that's who he is. What he is a leader, and a leader can orchestrate and create all the things that you need offensively to be a smooth running machine. You already got the engine. You just got to get to my guy Tommy Heinsohn. Love you, bro. Just drive, baby. Run, baby. Run. Just run, baby. Run.
Right.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
I mean, that's another thing too. People, they're expecting to. Sorry, go ahead, Bobby. I'll get in later.
Well, I was gonna say I was just kind of, when I did like a deep dive on his passing and his stats and just the splits this year or over the years with him at point guard, it's exceedingly good. The percentage of shots that guys are making off of his passes. Tatum and Brown did great in that regard last year. And again, I thought for the most part last year, they were at their best when he was out there. He missed that long stretch with the injury. He came back, took him a little while to get his feet under him. The more and more I think about it, we could start to be seeing a slow decline of him just because of the physicality of his game. But I do think last year was an anomaly with him. Like, I think he's going to be back to that defensive stature we're used to with him. I think he's going to be so comfortable out there just focusing on passing. And, John, you've said this. He kind of gives the game what it needs. If he's on the wing, he's going to be shooting a lot for spacing. He might need to do that this year in some games just because of how thin they are.
No. Once we get into that, you get into huge problems.
No.
Well, that's
the biggest problem with him is I don't want him to do that. Yeah.
I'm with you, John, but here's the reason why I'm saying no. I'm saying that because now there's other weapons now, right? There's Richardson, there's Schroeder, there's Al Horford, someone that can really open things up in the pick and roll set. I mean, the shooting, there's opportunities for those guys. There's opportunities for those guys. The Richardsons and the Horfords, the guys who flirted with the 40% plateau. Guys that weren't there last year. And I think that's a lot of the reason why Marcus took it upon himself to take on those shots, to take on those cringeworthy attempts that made Celtics fans, upset with him. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, because now he's got a supporting cast now, and the roles are defined. He's not in there on a temporary basis.
His threes
he's a
bother me.
full-time starting point guard now.
His threes bother me less than his twos. I don't like when he initiates the action. Marcus Smart should not be trying to create his own shot. He should be taking open shots. I don't care what clip he hits them at. The ball rotates over to you behind the arc and you have a good look. You're supposed to take that. That's just how it works. He's a good enough shooter to take those. What you don't want is him starting to go to the basket, doing different things like that and trying to create his shot, shooting off the dribble. No, don't do that. That should not be the thing. That's all we've ever asked of him is take the shots that are there, but no more. You should not be looking for your offense.
You didn't like those shots sometimes, though. You were like, no, keep swinging it. I don't want you taking those shots.
Yeah,
especially
with
this 45 seconds.
Late game, I hate it. Late game, I hate it. But we said the first half, that's what that's for. You pass. Look, how many first half of the games the Celtics whipping the ball around the perimeter? That's predicated on everybody being able to take and sometimes make those open shots, or else what's the point of moving the ball? But it stagnates in the second half, and you start to play iso ball and hero ball when you need buckets, and you certainly don't want Marcus taking those shots down the stretch. I'll stand by that.
Well, the assist is decided by the main basket, too. And I think that was such a huge problem last year is that reliability factor we were talking about in the last segment there. There would be some great flashy passing out of the hands of Smart, Tatum last year. They'd get to their spots, and who'd be in the corner? It'd be Semi, it'd be Grant, be some of these guys who were just extremely unreliable when it came to sample size of shooting threes there. I think they're going to have some better guys more equipped to be reliable in those spots. Maybe not great shooters, but reliable guys like Horford, Richardson. I'd rather have Richardson taking threes than Semi. And then, once you get in your Pritchards and Neesmiths, hopefully, that's some really good pure shooting off the bench there. So I think that's going to be a big thing. But Smart's passing stats last year were pretty good. He had his highest assist per game, his highest assist percentage ever. He was attempting more free throws per game, more drives per game ever than his career.
You have turnovers?
The turnovers aren't that high with him. They ran line with Kemba, who was pretty good in controlling the game, like 2 a game. And, he didn't have the ball in his hands a ton. So maybe that ticks up with more ball time. It probably does. But Smart's not a crazy turnover guy to me. I think he's a really good ball handler.
I don't think he's an erratic guy. He's not a crazy turnover guy.
He's not a crazy turnover guy like game in and game out. But there are some head-scratching decisions that he can make out there sometimes when he's trying to do too much. And whether that means he's taking 9 3-pointers or higher.
Well, don't you think a more defined role is going to help that, Jimmy?
Or if he's driving to the hoop and all of a sudden finds himself in the air and now he needs to, try to throw it away to somebody who's in the area or whatever. So those are the things that I'll be keeping an eye out for. Like if he's going to be a more traditional point guard, maybe he won't find himself in those types of positions. But if he's going to get the ball transition and, bomb down the court and then try to either do it himself or bail himself out once his feet leave the ground. Like those are the things that I'm not saying it happened a lot last year, but I can remember instances where I'd be like, this guy somebody needs to slow this guy down a little bit because he's trying to do. And yeah, maybe the Celtics needed a spark of some sort because they weren't getting it from a Tatum or whoever on that given night. But if he is going to truly take on a more traditional point guard role, then you want to see him play with a little bit more, in my opinion, control.
My biggest concern for him at the point guard spot is how bad of a finisher he is. I do think you have to really be able to initiate drives and finish them to create in this league. But he's kind of around that. He kind of had I'm shocked at how many points he creates driving because he doesn't finish. He's like 38% at the rim.
It's so bad around the rim. It's his face.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of what I mean when he drives to the hoop and then
those are the erratic
moves.
Jimmy, yeah.
Right, because he does.
Your face just lit up. He's like, he's so terrible around the rim.
That's what kills me. Is like he's so bad around the rim when he goes. We were railing about this last year. It's like it always ends badly. Why are you doing it? Don't go. Right. We thought he'd be able to do that more coming out of college. He can't. He's not good. He's not good at it.
And this is what I'm interested to see. Do they post him up more?
Throwing
is this a team that's willing to, attack mismatches. You talked about shooting mid-ranges, John. Just like things Brad was so
I like him in the post. I also think he's going to get – we're talking he's not going to be an 8-10 assist guy. He's got 3 to 4 alley-oops to rob per game if those guys are on the floor for 20-plus minutes.
His assists are going to explode.
Because they're the only guys – they're the guys who do that. And you're right. It would be better if you could finish a little bit because you do need a little drive and kick, which is something they didn't do at all as a team last year. Get into the paint and work their way inside out. And I don't know that he's the best guy to do that. And so you'd like to see that element to his game as well, because he's not really a threat to score when he drives. Yeah.
Yeah, him posting up is interesting. He does kind of carry that Mark Jackson like,
He's so good at that
body in terms of like when they really need a bucket. We've seen him do that, and sometimes he gets to the free throw line, sometimes he finishes strong. So. Yeah,
and most guards in this league, he has a size advantage on.
Mark
I think that's
Jackson.
something you may talked about was attacking mismatches this year. Can Horford body some of those smaller fours? Like, I am so intrigued stylistically, Sherrod. And again, you've gotten to know like Ime teams over the years more than most of us, I think. Spurs teams. Like, how stylistically different do you think this team's going to be than Brad? Because, again, I didn't get a good feel for that again today. Like, I don't know if this is going to be Brad's system. Same thing, not too many differences you notice. Are they going to be shooting more mid-rangers? Are they going to be posting up, doing some things that Brad would never think of doing?
I would believe that he's going to have a different imprint on his team and have a different look and feel about him. I mean, to me, the first thing that I come back to when I think about this team is Tatum and Brown both acknowledging how they want to be coached hard. And how that's going to have a trickle-down effect on everything. That's going to make the young guys play with a little bit more of an edge. That's going to make the guys who are already playing with an edge foam at the mouth even more because they got more dogs who are playing with an edge, and they got a coach who is probably getting in just
accountability. That's right.
Yes, accountability.
That's right.
I was going to say something else, but I love sponsors, and sponsors love us.
Yeah, you were going to say something reckless.
I absolutely was. But the point is, they have I think a coach who I think is a little bit more aligned with where they are now. Like, I don't think Ime would have worked, let's say 4, 5, 6 years ago here, where I think where their core guys are now, where the new guys they're bringing in are at. I think he is ideal for what they need based upon the places he's been. He's been on a team that had really good, well, maybe one or two great players, but a lot of good players in San Antonio. That's kind of what the Celtics have right now. You've got Tatum and Brown, and then after that, you've got some good players, but you really don't have great ones. He has been in a culture with that type of roster and has been able to be part of a successful culture in that regard. So I think he's going to be fine. I mean, I think he's going to be fine. Now, are they going to win 50 games? No, I don't think so. But they are going to be a competitive team. They're going to force teams to play. Because if you show up thinking you're just going to walk over them and kick their ass, you are in for a surprise. They're not that team this year.
That's what we hope, because they were so freaking easy to play against last year, and that's what it comes down to is the Celtics teams are supposed to be hard to play against. It's supposed to be a real struggle.
So that's the other thing we have to talk about this year is the win total and like the.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sherrod. So
yeah,
you're topping them out at what, at +8 compared to last season. They're going to win eight more games this year, or less than.
They got to push 50 to be competing in the East next year.
Yeah, I mean, I see them. I see them pushing something in the mid-40s, mid to high 40s. I don't see 50 though. I can't. I don't.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah,
I think that 4 spot's really going to require 50-ish wins this year. I think Milwaukee, Brooklyn, those teams are that good. Philly's kind of that big question mark. Like, are they a shoe-in as 50? Probably not. So maybe they fall off, and that's wins that the Celtics can pick up in the East. But, Miami's a huge wild card. Indiana's better. The Knicks look good.
Oh, ESPN had the Celtics at 6 over under. What do you think?
6
again.
wins.
If they have
six seed.
I'll go over. I got them at 5.
Yeah, 5th, maybe 4th. They're fighting for that 4th spot. I don't know if they get it though.
Again, just the way I see the East this year, you're going to need 50-ish for 4. Sherrod's total there is probably more 5 or 6. A mid-40s team, that's going to be 5 or 6, maybe 7 in the East. Now, as long as they have that playing range.
If they do win more than 50, I'm 51, 52. I couldn't see this team winning more than that, but yeah.
I wasn't even sure they were a playoff team until they got Schroeder.
Agree, Jimmy. Yeah.
Until
so
Schroeder,
I was
right?
not just going to shoot them up halfway up the playoff list just because they got Schroeder. Yeah, so but like to me, like 6, 7, like
Schroeder
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we finally see
hopefully
what
they
he
can
looks
be hopefully they can be a tough out. But you got a first year coach, you got a lot of new players that you have roles that are pretty undefined, and there's a lot of question marks going into the season. So do they have more talent than they had last year overall? Yeah, but they still have a hell of a lot.
Are we
more.
sure?
I think they do. I think they have more talent.
I'm not being difficult. It's
Yeah,
just like I said.
yeah. No, I am sure.
I think the trade-off in depth, John's bigger than what
You
Kemba,
lost
especially the Kemba
Fournier
they
and
had.
Kemba, and you replace him with
Oh,
Richardson
you
and
love
Schroeder.
Fournier?
You lost
No,
Kemba.
we're not
You
doing
weren't really
this.
getting much from
Stop.
Kemba, though.
I know,
going
but I
into
mean,
it.
I cannot look at this team and say definitively you have more talent. I
Listen,
think if the team has more talent, it's in the gains the players they already had made.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that does not
Yeah.
mean
No, it's
they
about
are
fit,
more
too.
talent. They're not a more talented group. The players might get better.
I think you're expecting like all the players to be trending in the right direction, right? I mean,
But that would have been the same with the cast you had last year too.
Yeah, I know, but
theoretically.
Yeah,
now
but
it's
you're not.
another
But you're
year-
not. You're
another
not
year
relying
ahead.
on someone like Romeo as much, though, right? You
Right.
Okay. That Neesmith is sort of that one guy where you would ideally say this team needs him to be in this
I
rotation.
think you're not
going
to be relying on Grant as much. You're not going to be
But you're
relying
not
on Romeo.
exactly. You're not relying on the
Like,
Grants.
you're not
or the,
relying
or
on
the
Semi
Romeo.
or,
They were
you know,
starting
Bobby.
Bobby is
Same
relying on Grant. Bobby's relying on Grant.
or even Pritchard. I mean, I could see Pritchard
He
taking a
is.
step up, taking a step forward, but you're not relying on Pritchard to be
I just
one
want
of your
Grant,
guys off the
Pritchard's
bench.
going to have a better year, though. And you know what? Like, he's going to
Right,
be a guy that's
but
going
my
to make
point-
the rotation.
right. But my point is, with someone like Schroeder, you're not. You know,
Right.
he's not under a microscope
So-
as much.
Right.
I sold my Romeo stock and I bought low on Grant. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I bought
You
low
guys
on
have to do
Grant.
much.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
think there's a
penny
role
stock.
for him on this
Congrats.
team. There's certainly a role for this team if Horford starts, because you're going to need somebody like him in that second unit. Otherwise, it's Ennis and hold your breath, for 5-6 minutes and hope
There's some
It-
interesting battles.
which way
near the
that
bottom of the
11-2 run goes when
Yeah.
Ennis is in the game. You never know.
No, in that Cantor, Grant,
that
Parker.
plus minus, you never know.
It can swing it's such a volatile swing. Ennis either
Yeah.
is a +10 or a -10 in 4 minutes almost every time he's out there. So
No,
you hope to play
yeah.
even, in his minutes.
And when you get that +10, you're like, you didn't see it coming at all.
For
Yeah.
people
Okay.
who-
All right.
For people who care, there's an interesting battle there between like Wancho, Grant, Ennis, and Parker. Like some of those guys are just kind
Parker's not
of
gonna be
and
here.
Romeo's in that group too. But yeah, Parker, the interesting one for me is Garrison Matthews coming through. Like that's a guy who could maybe steal that 15 spot from Parker just because of how good of a shooter he is. I like that signing a lot. And if he stays on a two-way deal, which I can't see, I think he's an NBA player. That'd be a huge heist for the Celtics, getting him in there on that deal.
Okay.
We'll have you track that battle for everybody on the show. That last roster spot battle between the bigs and.
Yeah, Jimmy, he's gonna come with it regardless. Like,
Oh, I know.
yeah.
Guys, any closing thoughts here? We've been going for a bit. We're gonna wrap it.
Bobby looks
No,
like
I
he's
think
thinking
we're
about
good.
something or looking at something.
He's reading
Just
something.
look,
He's very
Can't wait to
focused.
see
Yeah, he's very
Al
focused.
Horford get that 6th Man of the Year award.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No,
Mac.
Rob will get the award because Rob's going to be coming off the bench. Al's
That's
gonna be
right.
starting. That's right.
Well, they when's
Luke
our first
Cornett will be in the rotation in some way, shape, or form.
preseason game?
Monday.
Next Monday.
Okay, so
A
we're
week from
back
today.
Monday. We're back sooner if we need to be, but we're back Monday for sure. We're gonna have more coverage on our all of our platforms, Celtics YouTube channel, CLNSmedia.com. So make sure you're checking us out over there. Sherrod's got stuff coming on Bleacher Report and various other outlets. Of course,
Oh, yeah.
we've got our absolute fleet of podcasts, including Causeway Street with Josue Pavone, Dome Theory with Bobby Manning, the A-List podcast with Sherrod Blakely to go along with Winning Plays, Celtics Beat, Goodman and Ryan. and,
one of them.
Yeah, we're
One of those
loaded. What's up?
podcasts. One of those podcasts going on the road, right? The Greatest Bar, I believe it is. Not too far
Sherrod's
from
throwing a
TD
party.
Garden. Come on,
What?
guys. You know the vibes. Greatest Bar. Look at Sherrod trying to change the camera up. He's like, wait, no, I'm not gonna. Sherrod's gonna be there.
Who's
gonna
going
be
to the
the-
Grace Bar?
Sherrod's throwing a
it's gonna-
party.
It's gonna be the A-List podcast. Anna
Bill
Horford
Sway.
hosting. It's gonna be quite the time, guys. So
That's
come on
weird.
down.
Mine didn't get my
Yeah.
invite yet. That's weird.
Meet and greet.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
it's
did.
in there with all. It's in there with your next batch of Legends gear.
You need a guest host, Sherrod. If you need a guest host, you let me know, dude.
Come through.
Okay.
We're
We'll
gonna
be kicking it. Anna's
He
gonna
just
be in
wants a free
town.
drink.
Anna Horford's gonna be in town. It's gonna be a good time.
All
When
right,
is it?
Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday.
this Saturday.
This Saturday,
Real-
and it's not. It's not. Oh, sorry. So go ahead, John. I'm stomping
No.
all over you right now.
Do it.
It's from 3 to 6. So if you got plans Saturday night, don't worry about it. This is something you can do a little pregame to.
Okay.
Right into your Saturday night plans.
Well, college football in the background, maybe.
You have Jimmy playing guitar.
Yeah, you need some live music.
Yeah, Jimmy,
Okay.
come through.
Okay.
First round's on me.
Okay. We'll see what we can do. I'll have your
Um,
people talk to my people.
I got you. Yeah, I'll talk to. We'll get this booked. I got you, bro.
Legends.com. Use the code Garden20. Save 20% on your first order. That's our sponsor, and we're sticking to it. So make sure, again, support our sponsors. Helps us turn out the content, which we like doing. Bobby is invited. Someone wonders why Bobby hasn't been told. Nobody invites the boomer boss. That's fine. I get that. But Bobby's definitely invited.
John got the flyer, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course you're invited, John. Come on down.
No. I'm old. Even 6 o'clock is too late for me.
What about
John's
3?
gonna show up unannounced. He's gonna be chilling in the corner, just taking it all.
Me on the 3rd floor, just watching from above.
Just doing my thing. So we are back next week for our first post-game show. Ready or not, it's happening. So we get to see some stuff in action, and obviously some questions answered. We're psyched because I'm sick of the Patriots after 3 weeks already, so I can't wait for some basketball.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm actually
so excited.
I'm excited for Patriots talk this week. Oh, my guy's coming back to town. Prediction real quick.
Yeah, he is.
49-10.
I'm more interested in the Celtics' first preseason game than I am this Patriots game.
Oh, I can't wait for this Patriots.
So come to the greatest
Wow,
bar.
John
it's gonna be the night before the game. You can just relax and not think about it for a little bit.
It's gonna be the John and Bob podcast this week.
I'm definitely going to be out on Sunday for the game, cheering my Bucks on. That's for sure.
So zero chance we'll get an upset, huh, Jimmy?
I can't believe.
I think there's a chance.
0.0. I'm already placing bets on the Bucks. The line's 6.5 or something, or 6. I think that's
it's 7.5
comically low.
now.
Look, it's a big.
You don't
It
trust
started
White
at 4.5 and went up.
Yeah, over the last few weeks, it's gone up.
Can't get to like
the
10.
Patriots play more and more.
The Jimmys of the world are running it up.
Yeah, I like money. I like money, Bobby. So when I see an easy money,
all right, Jimmy and I might have to make a wager. We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, lots of good Patriots content. Subscribe to all of our stuff over there. Patriots Press Pass, our YouTube channel. I think we just hit 10,000 subs. If not, we're right knocking on that door. So you guys can push us over the top. Go for it. But a ton of content all week. And yes, of course, we're going to be talking a lot of Brady. The reason I'm not pumped for this game, Patriots have too many of their own problems to really worry about who's coming into town. It's just
it's ugly.
It doesn't even matter who comes in.
It doesn't matter.
But my guy Brady is going
to
remind them that they created these problems.
If Zach Wilson comes in, they're all right, but that's it.
Look, man, what's the point of talking about it? It's a resounding, Brady 1, Belichick 0 in a very resounding way. Why do the Brady Belichick talk? And it's going to be 2-0 after this Sunday. So that's it. The first one was a 10-8 round, maybe a 10-7 round. It was a wipeout. Okay. And it's not going to get better this year. So
no,
you're hoping. Yeah.
And by the time it gets better for the Pats, Brady's going to, I shouldn't say as a 100% chance, but Brady will most likely be out of the league someday. And maybe someday the Patriots will be good again. But that doesn't mean ever that the Patriots were in the right or they made the right decision or Belichick did the right thing. It's pretty obvious at this point. Now, I just want to kick them while they're down. And I want to kick them hard.
Ouch.
Damn.
He's mad. He's mad about Tommy.
There's going to be a lot of Jimmys in the
Them's the
crowd
facts.
Sunday.
No,
That's what I'm wondering.
Jimmy's gonna have his Brady jersey on all week.
I actually think
There you go, Jimmy.
No, I'm not going to the game because I think it's going to be a lot of fake. There's going to be a lot of fake Patriots fans and a lot of fake Brady fans there who just want to see a high-scoring game and that they might want the Patriots to win, but they also want Tom to do well. But I'm full on anti-Pats, 100% on favor of Tom. So if I'm at the game, I'm just blending in with all the fake fans. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm representing my guy away from the stadium, loud and proud elsewhere.
I think it's going to be a more Brady crowd.
Yeah,
more Brady
100%.
than Pats.
Oh my god!
And
it's gonna be absurd.
I think by a bit.
There's gonna be a lot of cheering for the Bucks, which is just sad, but
Well, that's Gillette, anyways. Is barely a lot. Barely you can barely hear them cheering for the Pats.
Oh, it's the
anyways.
worst. It's the worst
Yeah.
crowd in the NFL. It's just, right.
The red seats. It's the red seat crowd.
It's the red seats. Like, oh, are you guys coming back? Or are you gonna stay in the bar? There's a good game going on out here. Like,
Right.
you make some
Yep.
friggin' noise on defense. My God, yeah, it's a very bougie crowd for a football stadium.
It used to be a hard place to
that's the
play,
word.
not because of the fans. Let's
Very
just put it that
bougie
way.
crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
sad. You have some
it's the-
diehards in there. There's
it's
just
the-
not enough of them. There's some
course.
really good fans there. They're just outnumbered.
Yeah, there's
But
always
it's the
going
house
to be
that
diehards.
it's the house that Brady built, guys. It's the house
Yeah.
that he built.
It's the house that
all
Brady
those
built,
banners.
and on Sunday night, it's going to be the house that Brady.
We're not
tore
a
down.
football area. We are an area that ended up with a really good football team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you ended up with a really good football quarterback.
And that's reflected in the crowd. Anyway, we're off. We're going to wrap it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you guys Monday.